Hey, it's Rob Forte here. I'm just about to show you inside of the Forte Method VIP Mentorship Program. So it's a new program that I've created. The reason why I created this program is because there's so many athletes out there that think in order to get results, in order to get to the games, in order to produce consistent results over a long period of time, it's all about the programming. And I'm here to tell you or suggest to you that it's not about the programming. It's about your habits, your routines, your mental game. Okay, so it's how you go about your training. That's the important part. That's the missing piece, and that's the difference in this program. Okay, so if you know my career, I have qualified for the CrossFit Games 9 consecutive years in a row, and I understand that that's not an easy feat. I understand that you probably don't know where to start. I didn't know where to start either. But it got me thinking a couple of years ago, how am I able to produce results and consistent results and other people aren't? Okay, so then I started to think about, what do I do different? What are my habits? What are my routines? What is the system that I follow? And that's exactly what I've put together. So let's jump inside and have a look at that right now. Before we dive into the program, I want to give you a little bit of a background story of who I am and why you should listen to me. So I used to race competitive motocross, and then I transitioned out of that and needed to find something competitive to get into again. I started doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and started doing CrossFit for that. My dad actually started doing CrossFit before me in 2009, suggested that I do it to help with my fitness, and I was way better at CrossFit than I was at that. I did my first comp 3 months in, did really well, and I've been hooked ever since. Okay, so I did my first comp early 2010. Since then, I've qualified for 9 consecutive CrossFit Games in a row, 7 as an individual and 2 on a team. I've been an affiliate owner for 9 years. I've been programming for that whole time, so 9 years. And I've been coaching elite level athletes for 6 years. So the first elite level athlete that approached me for programming and for coaching was Matt Swift. Okay, so I started helping him out from 2013 onwards. We've been on and off, just depending on his goals, whether he wants to go for the CrossFit Games in the Masters or not. And he's actually won the CrossFit Games. So he's done really well over that time. And that's where sort of my journey started as an elite level coach. Okay, so why should you listen to me? Because I've experienced a lot of things, okay? The things that I've experienced is real life stuff. It's not stuff that I've read, and that's what I teach, okay? I teach by experience, and what I teach you and what I teach my athletes is exactly what I do today, okay? So I lead by example. That's a principle that I live by, is leading by example, okay? And I want to talk a little bit about my vision, why I created this program. Okay, so I knew there was a problem because there's a lot of programming out there. There's no real coaching, there's no real guidance behind what actually gets you results. Okay, so I'm guilty of this. I've been programming or just offering a program for the last 2 years, and I knew people weren't getting results that they should get. Okay, so now how do I solve that problem? I created a mentorship program. This program, which covers the mental side, the habits, the routines, the stuff that actually matters. So you can focus your energy on the stuff that matters. Okay, so why does it matter to you? Because without this, you won't produce the results that you could produce. You're not going to tap your potential. You're not going to get the best out of your training. You're not going to progress that next level, because the habits and routines you currently have will produce the results you currently have. We need to change that stuff to produce better results, consistent results, and we need to continue to evolve through that process. Okay, so there's 3 pillars to this program. The first one is the mental training, the habits, the routines. The second one is the mentorship, which is checking in with me. And the third one is the actual physical training, the programming itself. Okay, so pillar 1, every month I'll teach you exactly what's working right now to produce consistent results in your training. I teach you my 5-level system that you can follow step by step. This is the training that has taught athletes to break through their plateaus, be more productive with their time, get clear on what's holding them back, and go to new levels. Okay, this is where the learning happens every month. Don't be the person who isn't consuming this content and taking action. You need ongoing monthly training so you know what works and to stay on track. Okay, so this is the habits and routines. I'm going to dive into this a lot during this video. So that's coming up in a second. Pillar 2, the mentorship. This is the most valuable part of the program for athletes getting the edge over their competitors. The mentoring is implementation style taught by me personally. Each week you'll check in with me to get clear on what's holding you back, and then I task you with something to focus on for the following week. So every single week you check in with me, and then it makes going through that process, it makes it clear to you what you need to work on, and it also allows me to give you feedback every single week and a task for you to focus on. Pillar 3, the physical training. Okay, this is an advanced competitive training that has got me to 9 consecutive CrossFit Games. You get week by week training specifically for athletes to get better at the sport of CrossFit. This training begins as soon as you're accepted into the program. With a new week of training being released every Sunday, I break down every single week of training so you're clear on what the stimulus is supposed to be. There are 3 different levels to this programming. I actually follow this program as well. So the RxD Plus is what I do. And I've got an RxD option, which is more advanced, and then RxD Minus, which is intermediate. Okay, so I understand that sometimes the weights and stuff that I lift are pretty aggressively loaded. That's why I've got these different levels. Okay, so keep something in mind though. You need to be proficient in all movements in CrossFit to be able to complete this programming. All right, now it brings me into the part that I'm most excited about, which is the mental training. This is pillar 1, where we work through a course pretty much, and I've broken it down into a bunch of different levels, and we tick off tasks, habits, routines as we go along. So you don't just get an information overload, just a dump of information all at once. So where we start out is where you are now, and we move into phase 1, which is level 1, the student. So habits, routines, how to learn, all that stuff. We build a foundation. Then level 2, the athlete. We look at your competition craft, mental game, efficiency, and the importance of reflection and starting to do that. And then level 3, which is building discipline, being mission focused, having mental toughness and being proactive. Level 4, the leader, which is leadership, ownership, being the real deal, and long-term planning. And then level 5, the pro, self-mastery, being an inspiration and a contributor, and having purpose to your training. Moving through these phases, you'll have the ability to stand on the podium in competitions and in life. I truly believe this. First one, level 1, the student. When was the last time you reflected on your week? Most people don't do this, so you have no idea where you're at. So how do you know what needs your attention for the following week? You don't. So you just operate off your feelings and emotions rather than ticking off tasks and moving towards your goals. You need to reprogram the way you operate through your habits and routines. As a student, you'll learn how to implement new habits and routines that will set you up to start producing consistent results. You'll check in with me every week, so it's very clear to you what you need to work on, and it also gives me clarity on what to coach you on. This process is so important and no one does it. Okay, so if you're not constantly evaluating, you're just going to be going through the motions. Okay, I've gone through phases in my career where I didn't reflect, didn't look at what I was doing, and my results dropped off. I literally started going through the motions and had no purpose behind my training. All right, next level, level 2, the athlete. You most likely have watched an open workout get released and then start searching for workout tips and movement tips because you're freaking out. You don't know how to approach the workout. You also know that you should have done the work on that specific movement that just got released. As an athlete, you'll develop the skills to assess different workouts, what the stimulus is going to be, This will allow you to develop a game plan according to the workout and your current abilities. You also learn some very important points that a lot of people don't even consider in their training. Things like body language, mastering your transitions. You'll master so many small things that it adds up to a huge advantage. I want you to look at one of my athletes, Jay Crouch, 20 years of age, competed at the Down Under CrossFit Champs and stood on the podium in his first ever individual major competition. Okay, so major competition, stood on the podium. How did he do that? I had a lot of people coming up to me saying, he competes like a veteran. He's like you out there. It's because he's practiced it. Okay, he wasn't born that way. It doesn't come naturally to him. We had to practice it in the gym and be consistent with it. So when he got out onto the competition floor, all the stuff he was doing is automatic. Okay, so we need to get to that stage of it being automatic. You don't have to think through it. You don't have to force it. You've actually gone through the process in your training. You've practiced all the little things that matter inside of competition. And that's exactly what he did. All right, level 3, the soldier. Okay, when it gets hard, do you tap out? Do you stick to your word when you say you're going to do something? Do you follow through? Most people don't. So their self-talk is weak. Their self-talk is weak because they don't believe themselves. They don't believe themselves because they never follow through on their word. As a soldier, you'll learn how to develop discipline and actually follow through on your word, no matter what. If an obstacle gets in your way, you'll figure out a way to get past it. Nothing will get in your way. You'll operate off your word and what you said you're going to do, not your feelings and emotions. You'll master the art of goal setting. Okay, so we're going to go through that phase of goal setting and then operating off our goals, not our feelings and emotions. Because some days you feel like you don't want to do it, you don't feel like doing it, or you're having a bad day. We can't operate in that way because our results will drop off. We'll go through a phase of a month where we've actually dropped off our habits, routines, and we're not moving towards our goal. So it's super important to set goals and do the action steps to achieve those, not operate off our feelings and emotions. Okay, so through my career, I've had a bunch of different injuries right before regionals. So I sprained my ankle before the 2012 regionals. In 2014, I went into day 1 of regionals with 3 hours of sleep due to pressure and anxiety keeping me up. I hurt my back doing a max deadlift at a fitness expo before the 2016 regionals. I shot myself in the finger, stupidly, with a nail gun 2 weeks out of the 2017 regionals. And just recently in the 2019 sanctional at the Down Under CrossFit Champs, 7 years later, rolled my ankle again. Okay, so I was playing a soccer game in a warm-up. My ankle just went on me and it blew up literally the day before I had to travel. So my mission, my mental toughness, my discipline let me focus forward and put my doubts and emotion aside and focus on the task at hand. Allowed me to develop the ability to plan for when things go wrong. No obstacle getting in my way. The competition didn't give a shit if I hurt myself and if I didn't feel 100%. Okay, so my focus was on how do I get myself into a position to compete? How do I get the most out of myself with my current situation? My emotions and everything were running wild. If I listened to them, I wouldn't have competed. I needed to just think about the steps that I needed to take, get the information that I needed to get better, to get to a position to be able to compete. And that's what I did, and it actually paid off every single time. Okay, level 4, the leader. Have you tried to help people, but they don't really seem to listen to you or just brushed you off? Have you told someone to do something, they pretty much just ignored you and kept doing what they were doing? Have you made stupid decisions because you're focused on an instant result rather than thinking long term? As a leader, you'll develop the skills to lead by example. You learn to talk from your own experiences. People start to listen to you because you've gone through the other levels and have developed into a better athlete and person. They'll start to see you differently because you are now the real deal. You also have the ability to think long-term and make better decisions. As your circle of influence grows, so does your responsibility. You look at high-profile athletes that lose sight of this. They make decisions that benefit them in the short term, but ruin them and the people around them in the long term. As an example of this is taking performance-enhancing drugs. This is a short-sighted mentality and an instant gratification mentality. As a leader, we think long-term and act accordingly. Okay, level 5, the pro. When you started your CrossFit journey, you most likely used to jump into the class and were a huge part of your community. Then you figured out you're pretty good at this. Then you started a program, then it evolved into excluding yourself from the group or community to do your own training. You've been disconnected from your community. As a pro, it's your opportunity to give back to your community, be the inspiration, be a contributor, have a bigger purpose than just yourself. Okay, so this is a really important part when you get further into your journey. When you first started, doing it for yourself, doing it to compete was a good enough reason. As you get along in your journey, doing it to get better at competitions gets old real quick. Okay, we need a bigger purpose than just ourselves. That's going to allow us to get to the gym when we don't feel like it. It's going to allow us to be an inspiration to our friends, our family. Get them to get into health and fitness. Okay, so there's a bigger purpose than just yourself. All right, a little bit of a recap. So pillar 1 is the mental training, the habits, the routines. Pillar 2, the mentorship. You get the accountability, the coaching from myself personally. Pillar 3, the physical training. Okay, so go through the physical training. We've got 3 different levels with that, and that's all part of this program. Okay, now I want to talk about some of my results. So we'll look at what I've achieved in my career, not just in CrossFit Games, but in business and other areas of my life. Okay, I've been paid up to $10,000 to run weekend competitions multiple times. I haven't been paid that because of my profile. It's the way I carry myself, the professionalism that I have. Now, if you want to get sponsors, have opportunities come up, you need to carry yourself in a certain way. Okay, so in order for you to get those opportunities, you need to carry yourself in a certain way. People just think I'm a freak or I'm taking drugs or that I'm gifted or lucky. The people who are saying that shit aren't willing to do the work, and that's just their excuse. I'm here to tell you it's none of those things, and I've mapped out habits and routines and taken action on them over a long period of time. No one is more consistent than I am in the process. I've been through a lot of shit. It definitely hasn't been an easy journey, and I know it's not an easy journey for you either. It's far from it. But I want you to remember something. Nothing worth doing is easy. Okay, so growth is in the hard stuff. Growth is in the stuff that's challenging. Okay, so we need to move towards those things, not away from them. Our natural thing is to feel comfortable and move away from that stuff. But this mantra reminds me to move towards that stuff. Okay, so what's next? We need to take some action steps. So the first one is book a call with me or apply by filling out the online form. If you decide to go ahead or not, you'll have some takeaways on our call. Okay, so I'll actually help you. Step 2, take action. Again, start implementing the things you learned in this video and change the things you know you need to change. If you know you've got bad habits or things that are holding you back, let's eliminate them and start to replace them with good stuff. Okay, so take action whether you decide to sign up or not. Let's get better by the things you've learned in this video. Step 3, again, take action. Understand there's a reason why you're here watching this. If this resonated with you, I want to work with you. Okay, so if this resonated with you, we're on the same page, we're on the same path, we want to move in the same direction. Everything I've said in this video, everything I do, I actually do myself. I lead by example. And if you want to go through the same journey, if this stuff resonated with you, everything I've said, I actually want to work with you. We're on the same page, got the same vision. That's pretty much it. So hope you enjoyed this video. Again, take action on it. Let's go to that next level. Whether you decide to join me or not, let's still aim to go to that next level and let's go down that hard road.